What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Bit of Footy YouTube channel. Now today we're going to be doing a video that I've been thinking about doing, but I'm finally going to do. I actually made it, like, there was a short video a few weeks ago, or a few months ago now, when I said Carl Langford was an underrated player, and from that, today we're doing underrated players in 2021, in my opinion. So basically, I'm going to be listing a few underrated players, in my opinion, in 2021. Now, maybe, you know, in your opinion, they're not underrated, they're just rated or average at best. But yeah, I thought I would just list off a few of my players and see if you guys agree. So some of these players I just feel like do a lot of hard work but don't really get too much recognition in the media, or we're not really talking about them that much this season. So I feel like we should, recognize these players a bit more. So we're going to list a few right here, and if you agree, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. It's literally just an opinion thing. So yeah, let's get straight into the list. Coming in at my first underrated player is Bailey Dale. Now I feel like he's a good hard worker. He literally racked up 30 disposals last week against Hawthorn in a losing side. It was a 27-point loss, and yet Bailey Dale racks up 31 disposals, and which is a good thing, And 22 of them were kicks, none of them were handballs. And I think this year alone, he sort of upped his game. He's got 24.5 disposals on average this season. His intercept possessions have gone up from last season. They are at 5.6. His intercept marks are, around his average state. His meters gained have just gone through the roof, and his rebound 50s are above average as well. So not bad for Bailey Dale in a side that, looking to lock in the top 4 spot. Obviously, they need to lock it in this week, but I just really like how Bailey Dale's going about it. His disposal efficiency is up at 80.2%. His kicking efficiency is about average at 76.4%, but it's just really what he does around the ground, and from sort of that half back line for the Dogs. So I really like how he works. His contested possessions have gone up this year. His uncontested possessions have also gone up. Obviously, like I said before, his intercept possessions as well. So he's a great little player for the Dogs. Even his ground ball gets have gone up. So yeah, I really feel like we need to be recognizing Bailey Dale and all the hard work that he does. He normally racks up, like I said before, the 24, 25 touches. This week he got 31 in a losing side. So how can we not recognize them? Obviously because they lost, but still, great player, Bailey Dale. Now this one may be an interesting one, and I say that because the next one that I'm going to list is Ben Keays. And I think Ben Keays is sort of, I wouldn't say criminally underrated. I just feel like he doesn't get enough recognition. Like, obviously commentators say his name, does this, does that, but I just feel like there's not enough media talk about a player of Ben Keays' caliber. He's a hard worker. Sort of in the last few weeks, I will admit that he sort of dropped off, but the season's coming to an end, so a lot of players are just checking out of 2021, you could say, especially when they're not in the chance of making top 8. But Ben Keays had a ripping game last week against the D's. I'm pretty sure he racked up somewhere around 28 to 29 disposals. Let's just have a look. It was a 41-point win to the D's, and Ben Keays racked up 29 disposals, 14 kicks, 15 handballs, which is just, ridiculous. He had 11 tackles, 114 fantasy points. His disposal efficiency around the 66% mark. He had 16 contested possessions. It just really shows how hard of a worker he is. He just gets around the ground. He does a lot of good things. I will say he probably, needs to work on his disposal efficiency. It hasn't really been the best this season, but he's upped his disposal average from last season. It is 27.7. His contested possessions have went up this year. His clearances have went up. Meters gained went up. Score involvements went up. So he's a really good player for the Crows. He's a hard worker, and I feel like we just need to recognise Ben Keays a little bit more. He's sort of starting to get a little bit more recognised, but I just feel like he needs a bit more recognition. So hopefully next year he, comes out with the same sort of spirit he did this year. gets a bit more recognition and can sort of take his career off from there. Next, this one may be a bit interesting. Like I said before, Dylan Moore. I think he is a good little small forward for the Hawthorn Hawks, or a small crumbing forward. I just feel like he, when he's in the side, he brings a little bit of spark in the forward line. He just knows where to be at the certain times. He's a great, genuine little small forward. I believe, let me just have a look. He kicked 2 goals against the Pies and had 20 disposals as well. So, well, not to say, getting that against Collingwood is a great thing, but he's upped his disposals, he's upped his kicking, he's upped his marking inside forward 50, he's tackling inside forward 50 is an elite level this year for him. He's upped his goal average, he's upped his goal accuracy as well. It is at 61.4%, which is pretty decent considering, a lot of goal kickers this year have had pretty average goal kicking accuracy. So I feel like Dylan Moore needs to get a bit more, joke intended, recognition, and I feel like he is a definite underrated player. Alright, my next underrated player is from the St Kilda Football Club. It is Callum Wilkie. Now, yes, he sort of had a 50-50 game against Geelong when the Saints sort of started falling off in that second half. But I feel like Callum Wilkie needs a bit more recognition. He's a hard nut player. He plays all right in one-on-ones. Obviously, he's not going to win every one-on-one, but neither is every friggin' backline player. They're not going to win every one-on-one, so you can only get recognitions for the one that he wins. But I really feel like Callum Wilkie is a solid defender for the Saints. He kept the likes of Buddy Franklin to the only 1 goal. So what can you say about that? Buddy Franklin is a great goal scorer, as we all know. But yeah, I feel like Callum Wilkie deserves a little bit more recognition in the AFL world. He didn't have the best game against the Cats, but he had his moments. He's a strong defender. He's a strong-bodied defender. Let's have a look. His latest stats. He's upped his disposals this year. His intercept possessions are at average. His meters gains have gone up. His one-on-ones are at average, but they're still 3.7, which is a pretty decent average, because I've had a look at a few other defenders, and a 3.7 in one-on-ones is actually pretty high from what I've seen so far. His AFL fantasy points have gone up, disposals, kicks. His disposal efficiency is 86.9%. His rebound 50s have gone up. His kicking effective kicks have gone up. His kicking efficiency have gone up. His effective disposals have gone up. So his uncontested possessions have gone up. His contested possessions and intercept possessions have all stayed the same, but they're still at good numbers at 4.3 contested possessions and 5.5 intercept possessions. So I feel like Callum Wilkie needs a little bit more recognition for the work that he does in the St Kilda back line, because yeah, he's a good defender for them. So, sorry, I just had to get that out of my system. But yeah, I reckon Callum Wilkie is a criminally underrated player. Next on my list is Jordan Dawson. Now, I don't feel like we've talked a lot about Jordan Dawson this year, but he racks up a fair few disposals for a player that no one really talks about. But obviously he plays for the Swans this weekend against the Roos. He got a goal and 19 disposals, and I'm pretty sure he's upped his averages from last year as well. He's upped his disposals from last year, his intercept possessions from last year, his intercept marks from last year. His meters gained are at an elite level for himself. His rebound 50s are above average. His one-on-ones are above average. I mean, how can we not be talking about a player that is literally above average this year from last year? It's incredible to see. His disposal efficiency is average, and it is 79.2%. That's his average. Imagine if he brought it up a notch. That would be a great sign for him. His kicking efficiency, 76.4%. That is his average. His effective disposals have went up. Contested possessions are at 6.2. That is an elite level for him. Uncontested possessions up. Intercept possessions up. Contested possession rate up. Ground ball gets up. I mean, why aren't we talking about Jordan Dawson? He seems like a hard worker. I feel like we need to bring in more recognition to Jordan Dawson. and that's why I put him on this motherfucking list. Alright, next player I'm going to be listing is from the Fremantle Dockers. I'm going to be talking about your boy, Lukey Ryan. Now, the defenders have seemed to be getting a bit of love in this video, but in fairness, Luke Ryan is a great defender for the Fremantle Dockers. He may not be the best defender in the league, but he just gets the job done. He's a player that just goes out there, does what he needs to do, and gets it done in a professional manner. His disposals are up from last year in an elite style. He racks up 21.7 disposals as a defender. His intercept possessions are above average. His intercept marks are at an average rate, but they're at 2.2 meters gained. Elite. And so a few of his stats have went up from last year. Disposal efficiency 85.7%, incredible. Kicking efficiency 85.4%. I mean, come on. His rebound 50s are elite. His effective kicks are elite. It just gets better and better every time I read it. His effective disposals, uncontested possessions, intercept possessions are above average. His ground ball gets are above average. He's really worked hard this year, so I feel like Luke Ryan needs to get some recognition, and that's why I put him on this list. Alright, one more player I'm going to list. Sorry we couldn't get to an even number, but I'm going to list him anyway, and it is Ryan Burton. I think that he has had a pretty decent year. I wouldn't say he's had the best year of sorts, but I'm pretty sure when I checked before, his disposals and all that have went up this season. In the game against Carlton, he had 19 disposals. He averages 17.9. His intercept possessions are at 5.1. Intercept marks 1.1. His meters gains are above average. His rebound 50s are above average. His one-on-ones are above freaking average. My God, how are we not talking about him? He could work on his disposal efficiency and his kicking efficiency, but let's be real. When you're watching the Power on the weekend, Ryan Burton, the start of the season or midway or whenever he played, he didn't have like the greatest ability, but as we've worked towards the season's end, as we work towards finals, you can just see Ryan Burton growing in confidence, and he's moving really well. So I'm really glad for him because he is a decent player. He was a decent player at Hawthorn, so it's glad to see that he's progressively, getting better as well at the Power, and it's, he's progressively getting better to the right end of the season as the Power heading into the finals, and they could all but well lock in a top 4 spot as well. So that is my list done and dusted. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's weird getting a video out on a Tuesday, but I thought, fuck it, let's do it. And cheers guys for watching, and I'll catch you later this week.